Good morning students, welcome to today's class. How are you all? I hope you are happy, healthy, safe. I hope you are taking care of your dear ones also, yes or no? So, we are learning which lesson, dear students? Which lesson are we learning? Which lesson are we learning? The best Christmas present in the world. Present in the world. Okay? So don't forget the best Christmas present. What is the best Christmas present is revealed here in this lesson is not yet revealed. But at the end of the lesson we will come to know which is the best Christmas present. Okay dear students? So come on. So last time in the last class we were reading something about some incident. What was the incident? That was written in the letter by Jim McPherson. To whom did he write? To his wife, Connie. When did he write? On December 26, 1914. When did Connie receive the letter? January 25th, 1915. What was the incident that he wrote in the letter about? The thing that had happened between the Frieds and Tommies. Who are the Frieds? German soldiers. Who are the Tommies? British soldiers. So what was the thing happened on the Christmas day? Something wonder which they have never expected had happened, that British soldiers have started to wish the British soldiers happy Christmas, and they are coming with so many things towards British soldiers. And what had happened we are going to see now. Are you ready? Are you ready? Please open your textbook, take page number 12 and come to the second paragraph. By the way, who is the officer captain of the Frieds? Hans Wolf. From where was he? From Dusseldorf. What was his work? He was playing in the cello. He was playing the cello in the orchestra. And what about Jim McPherson? The captain of British soldiers is Jim McPherson. And from where was he? From Dorset. What was his work? He was a school teacher. Got it? Yes. Look at the second paragraph in page number 12. Are you ready? Yes, you are ready. Look at the second paragraph. Dorset, he smiled. Who smiled? Hans Wolf smiled. I know this place. I know it very well. We shared my rum ration and his excellent sausage, and we talked. Connie, how we talked. He spoke almost perfect English, but it turned out that he had never set foot in Dorset, never even before to England, never even been to England. So, Hans Wolf, when he heard about Jim McPherson's place, Dorset, Hans Wolf said, "Oh, Dorset," like that he smiled, and he knows the place. So then both of them talking together, they were having some snacks, some sausage, all that they were having. And then Jim McPherson was telling that, "Connie, do you know what did we talk?" He spoke almost perfect English. The Germans, that means, may not know the perfect English. British almost, yeah, it is their language. British is their language. So therefore, they know English perfect. So therefore, it is their mother tongue. So therefore, the Germans, it is English is for them is a second language like us. And so therefore, all of them may not speak the perfect English. But then this, he was not even a single visit he had made to Dorset, England. But then he was talking perfect English. Who was talking? Hans Wolf. But it turned out that he had never set foot in Dorset, never ever even been to England. He had learned all the new of England from school and from reading books in English. Yeah, we also have not visited England, but then we know English. Why? Because we are learning from our school, we are learning from different books, from different TV channels, from different videos. Okay, so therefore same way Hans Wolf also learned from his school time. His favorite writer was Thomas Hardy. Hans Wolf's famous writer was Thomas Hardy. His favorite book, Far from the Madding Crowd. Okay, so who was the famous writer of Hans Wolf? Look at the textbook. Thomas Hardy was the famous writer for Hans Wolf. And what was the book written by this writer? Far from the Madding Crowd. So out there in no man's land, we talked of Bathsheba and Gabriel Oak and Sergeant Troy and Dorset. So about different people, important people, different items, different places, different things happened. All that they were sharing each other and then they were talking about. Okay. As I looked about me, there were huddles of khaki and grey everywhere all over no man's land. Smoking, laughing, talking, drinking, eating. Yeah. So when this Jim McPherson looked all over the no man's land, that means the place where the fight is going to be. But then it is not the fight going to be. But then what was happening there? Both the soldiers, grey coats and khaki coats were mingling together, wishing, talking, smoking, drinking, laughing, eating. All these things are happening all over. And he thought the marzipan was, Hans Wolf and I shared what was left of your wonderful Christmas cake, Connie. So Jim McPherson's wife, Connie, had sent the cake, okay, marzipan. So what do you mean by marzipan is the meaning is there, okay? Try to learn it. He thought the marzipan was the best he had ever tasted. So that was the best cake Hans Wolf had never tasted before. I agreed. We agreed about everything and he was my enemy. There never was a Christmas party like it, Connie. So of course, they were agreeing, they were saying, yes, it is tasty, yes, that place is like that, this place is like that. They were agreeing for that, but then still both are enemies. So both are from different countries and both are supposed to fight each other, enemies. But then here, they are agreeing with each other, they have shake their hands, they shook their hands, and then they are happy about each other, sitting together, eating, drinking, sharing, talking, laughing. And have shared Jim McPherson's wife's what she had prepared the cake that is called marzipan. Okay, so therefore he also tasted it and he said it was the best thing that he had never tasted before. But then finally Jim McPherson very much aware of that they are enemies. So that was the best Christmas that had happened. And again, not only that this much had happened, but still there is something happening that day. See, then someone, I don't know who, brought out a football. Great coats were dumped in piles to make goal posts. And the next thing we knew, it was Tommy against Fritz out in the middle of no man's land. Hans Wolf and I looked on and cheered, clapping our hands and stamping our feet to keep out the cold as much as anything. It was cold, yes, chill, but then still, both the armies have prepared coach to play the football. Somebody, we don't know who brought the football, but then they have kept ready everything, and then they started to play, and then Jim McPherson and Hans Wolf automatically clapping their hands, encouraging them and shouting and then stamping their feet on the ground and to keep warm from the cold also. There was a moment when I noticed our breaths mingling in the air between us. He saw it too and smiled. Jim McPherson, he said after a while, I think this is how we should resolve this war. A football match. No one dies in a football match. No children are orphaned. No wives become widows. Yeah, as they were enjoying the play, singing, clapping, encouraging, and almost they are holding each other and their breaths became one. That means breathing and breathing out and breathing in became one. And then finally, Hans Wolf was saying, my dear Jim McPherson, I think this is the way we need to end our enmity war. Which way? Like a football match. In the football match, no one is killed, no one is dying, no one is hurt. Yes? So, no children become orphans, no wives become widows, no parents become like a left outs. Okay, why therefore, when we are having the war, shooting at each other, killing each other, our children, our wives, everyone become orphans, widows, and then left out. Our parents are left out. So therefore, that war brings all these disasters, this loss. But then football match, it doesn't lose, but then something like a winning, but finally accepting. Okay, so therefore, our war should be like this. We should end the war like this. I had perfect cricket, I told him. Then the weak Tommies could be sure of winning probably. We laughed at that and together we watched the game. Sad to say, Connie, Fritz won, 2 goals to 1. But as Hans Wolf generously said, our goal was wider than theirs. So it was not quite fair. So of course, Jim McPherson was telling Connie, it is the Fritz who won the match. But then Hans Wolf generously said that our soldiers have not played properly and then your soldiers have won by playing. Okay, why this? Are you able to understand? Are you bored about it? We'll finish fast. The time came and all too soon when the game was finished, the snaps and the rum and the sausage had long since run out and we knew it was all over. I wished Hans well and told him I hoped he would see his family again soon, that the fighting would end and we could all go home. And the play is over, all the things that we have brought out to eat, to share is over. And then Jim McPherson had wished Hans Wolf, telling that be happy, be sure that you will visit your family and you will be happy with your family. I think that is what every soldier wants on both sides. Every soldier likes to go home and visit his wife, children, parents, yes or no? So therefore, everyone likes and desires for that. Hans Wolf said, so Hans Wolf said every soldier in case, okay, wants it. Take care, Jim McPherson, I shall never forget this moment nor you. He saluted and walked away from me slowly, unwillingly, I felt. He turned to wave just once and then became one of the hundreds of grey-coated men drifting back towards their trenches. So once the play is over, we wished each other, Jim McPherson and Hans Wolf wished each other, and then they departed, and then grey coats went back to their trenches, and the khaki coats also remained back. That night, back in our dugouts, we heard them singing a carol and singing it quite beautifully. It was a still and altogether silent night. Our boys gave them a rousing chorus of Wild Shepherd's Wash. We exchanged carols for a while and then we all fell silent. We had our time of peace and goodwill, a time I will treasure as long as I live. Okay, so this was the incident as both soldiers went back, the German soldiers went back slowly to their trenches. They were there in their trenches and slowly started to sing Christmas carols, and then these Tommies also gave choral singing, and then that side from this side singing and singing and singing. After some time they became silent, and that was the best incident that they have experienced in that place. Okay, dear students, so this was the instant return in the letter. To whom did he write? To his wife, Connie. So this was the instant that both of them never forgot about it. Come on, to the page number 14. Dearest Connie, by Christmas time next year, this war will be nothing but a distant and terrible memory. I know from all that happened today how much both armies long for peace. We shall be together again soon, I am sure of it. So, he is promising to his wife my dear Connie. 1914 December, I have experienced this incident, and I am sure all the people, all the soldiers, all the country need peace. So we are longing for peace. We will make peace. I am sure for next Christmas, surely I will come to meet you, to remain with you. That was the promise of Jim McPherson. That was the word of the Jim McPherson to his wife. Okay. So then down you see, your loving Jim. So to whom did he write the letter? To his wife Connie. When did he write? December 26, 1914. When did Connie receive the letter? January 25th, 1915. That means 1915 December he was supposed to come for Christmas. But then did he come? Don't know. Let us wait and see at the end of the lesson. Okay, dear students? So take care. Try to read the lesson once a day. Okay, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times also you can read and enjoy. Dear students, take care. Wish you all a good day.